you watch, look where you watch, know where you watch. Choose the right thing to watch. And this enough to watch. Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan, Facebook and YouTube. And that enough to watch. The movie star fly take off from Palpatine TV, so that. Boom!
A big sound, a big tune.
Ja oli Emmanuel I, boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression, poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther. And the ancient monarchy will come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from it, tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, not every...
Blow, Mr. Gargan, blow. Blow till me dance up me toe.
This is Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan. Good, healthy food with the X Factor. So give it a like, share, subscribe, and touch up that notification bell. And that is it. Look at that.
Deliver me from my enemies,
like Christmas time.
Set me an eye from those who rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity. Save me from the bloodthirsty men. For behold, they lie and wait for my soul.
Work slows down
They
and
might
come
gather themselves together against me, not for my disobedience, not for my sin, Lord. I have done no wrong, yet they are ready to attack me. Rise up, behold, and help me. You, Lord God of armor, the God of Israel, rouse yourself to punish the nation. Show no mercy to the wicked, traitor, sealer. They return at evening, holding like dogs, and prowl around the city. Yeah, behold, they spot with their mouth, so they are in their lips, for they say, who art us? But you, Lord, laugh at them, you scoff of all the nation. O my strength, I wish for you, for God is my high tower. My God will go before me with his loving kindness. God will let me look at my enemy in triumph. Don't kill them, or my people may forget. Scatter them by their power, and bring them down, Lord, our shield. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let there be catch in their pride. For the curses and lie which they utter. Consume them in wrath, consume them, and they will be no more. Let them know that God rules in Jacob to the ends of the earth. Selah. At evening let them return, let them howl like a dog, and go around the city. They shall wander up and down for food, and wait all night, if they ain't satisfied. But I will sing of your strength, yes, I will sing aloud of your loving kindness in the morning. For you have been my high tower, a refuge in the day of my distress. To you, my strength, I will sing praises. For God is my high tower, the God of my mercy, Selah.
A corrupt government cannot liberate the people. If the head of the stream is corrupt, the entire river will be also. I do not support corruption. Corruption takes money away from children's education. It deprives hospitals of basic necessities. It means that roads are not fixed. Corruption deepens inequality. It siphons off taxpayers' money to make a few cronies richer with the political connections instead of benefiting the people. This government has been doing everything it can to weaken and undermine the Integrity Commission, which is an institution that I designed as Minister of Justice and brought the legislation to Parliament to fight corruption in this country. I have said it before and I will tell you again. Jamaica cannot move forward without a government built on integrity that embraces principles of good governance in this country.
Oh, somebody ball out one. Somebody say take them out. Lift your hand and say mighty God. Reverse them. Move them. Pull them out. Spray them out. Every cockroach. Every rat. Every criminal. Reverse them. Every chichi boy. Pull them out of Parliament. Every criminal, every scammer, every political scammer whose account can't count. All of them whose account can't count. Back them out. Spray them. They push them. Some push up in our Parliament. Run them out. I drink out the milk. Pull them out. Pull them out. Mighty God. Reverse them. Reverse them. Indict them. Mighty God. Mighty God. Mighty God. Holy Ghost. Send a Holy Ghost. High speed them. Deport them. Out of God's house. Some people in there want get deported. Back of the yard. Send them back. Jezebel. Delilah. Send them back. Of the yard. Ahab. Send them back anywhere they come from. Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Mary. Me I go to St. Mary.
I'm dia would pass me pussy clap.
Up and running. What a music sweet. That's why I know say. That's why European like dub music, so, because boy, have the lyrics, but boy, the music is your heartbeat. And this is where you talk about, yeah, you're the drum and bass, and yeah, you're all the instrument, no computerized, nothing. Just strictly musician I play live, mixed down, and make it be in a beautiful rubber dub. Yeah, man. So anyway, big up on yourself. Up and running, up and gunning. Sticky Stocky Sweet TV, Keith Gargan. Cassava, passava, mind over matter, up and running. So we are going to Parliament. I'll do some investigation and things like that, and some dissecting. Because when I say I go on, sometimes I'm talking, and really like blogger, some PNP blogger, you call them PNP blogger, who talk on the right side. Because if you talk on the right side, you don't have to be a PNP blogger, but you can just talk about the right. Right? Because I don't call myself PNP blogger. I'm a PNP, original. That I support long time. I will never vote for Labour right. But at the end of the day, people have to talk the truth. What them see, but some people afraid to talk in a lot of way. Them just a go around corner. I mean, I can't go around. Because how long me I talk about the same thing. And I just start that about 2 weeks ago. Say if PNP keep up this fucking thing, if you just attack soft and things like that, and not really put in them teeth as a dog and make them people what they saw. Them are going to just rascal now come back in the power again, because Andrew Wallace are going to use psychological thing on them, because liar, when people plan to lie, because them people are thief, be a face, Everybody can see the corruption go on, and you have all Daryl Bars comes talk and scratch him nose all the while. Let's watch that pussy when him talk, See him put him on him nose all the while. You can know that is a blood clot, really wicked liar that, He may come talk about after him wrong, and the Auditor General come out and attack the facts, and I put out a report, and he may come talk about she get it wrong, and him not apologize, and him gonna do it over and get you. So them bright. These are what the people them. So Juliet Wallace and Andrew Wallace bring some woman, one of them named Carleen Lowe. You're a surname Lowe. You can't get fucking lower than that, A surname alone tell you exactly who she is. That little woman named Carleen Lowe. I look on it and I say, watch this woman here. Them come with all these people, and what them do, them have, she's supposed to be the person who know, but she come down a guest and ask question. Our colleagues them come to back her up. This is a plan thing, And when we say with Julian Robinson, the only man we say put out some effort, is Peter Bunting, Julian Robinson, we watch him, him just quiet and take everything and talk about, okay, question nothing, push up nothing, and push on nothing. If it was GLP on the other hand, I don't be a fire over there, so. The man talk so soft. I look on South Africa Parliament, as an opposition, all them people really attack the government, Them have something to attack the government about, because it's clear out there. Some money are missing left, right, and center. I look on the Starlink. After them get about 700 Starlink free, and then them go order next fucking 200, and then them can't find some of them, and then they know where it gone, and just like the bus. So people say, our opposition can't really do it, and I talk to them so soft, and I talk about, okay, let's move on. I fuck with them I go on with, believe you me, and me don't know how I go on. That's why sometimes some people say politics and you can't wrestle, because sometimes them people will just go on and them all night together, I don't understand. I have to just talk how me feel, because I don't like that for opposition. And that's why the people them like them have something over them. Because them have the upper hand right now, because money are missing left, right, and center. Right? And them supposed to put them under pressure now. Look how when Andrew Wallace and the Labour Party in opposition, look how them deal with the fucking party. They not ease up on them. All when nothing they to talk about. And now them people have something to talk about. And Julian Robinson as the shadow finance minister, him just dead there and going like him a baby. and I accept everything and pressure, put on no pressure. If you don't put on pressure upon these people, or you think you got people are going to really, on the street, are going to really say something that go on. It's like when look, and that's me alone talking, a lot of people are talking, because, from the election, thief and concede and last, I want to have rascal doubling the seat, and a 14 again, 28 now. I want to still go on like that, brother. We have the upper hand right hand now, because the people are thief, left, right, and center, and them can't try to get out of it. I'm saying some things are going on, so right now, me don't know. I just raise my voice and I say I don't like what go on, because at the end of the day, for your opposition, the people's opposition, where you have 400,000 people vote for you people, I want to know so I get the election stolen from you. All right, when you hold it and then when you come now, when you supposed to attack like a Rockweiler, when you dead and make them people get it, when them are thief, you can see. Me look on the thing and I say, look on this blood clot woman named Lower. Where Juliet groom them and send them out. Because them is there and attack, and somebody, you can see them a look on computer, somebody are texting to them, and I give the all them things they supposed to call out all them things there, So what, PMP see them things, they say, well then, them a look on computer, somebody a feed them with information, when them get it wrong, why me I tell you, say, boy, me don't know. It's a one serious fucking thing. But me not go through the bits them with me, see, interested, dissect it and really burn a fire. And know say, well then, because me not ease up, because we know what the blood clot GLP party them up to. And if PMP party go on so soft, when them have them double them rascal seat when them from the last parliament, I want to come and I'm supposed to dip on fire now, make people proud of now. When they not push no weight, when they solve, everything we say do. The people might tell lie, blunted lie, I want to follow up the thing. When you're supposed to follow up the thing, don't let them off, follow them up. But as them come with something and somebody type something to them, and then look on the computer, them answer a question and accept it. Big up yourself, Peter Bunting, because you say something and me agree with that. Peter and Julian Robinson, when I understand, come here watch you, And to be truthful, you're too soft for your finance minister. Although Favour Williams, sicky, and look like half dead, she's still blood clot stronger than you. And I should. Because I have blood clot partial. Anyway, here goes. Here we go on.
Today I appear before the committee in my capacity as accounting officer for the House.
I think you have to speak a little closer. Pull the mic a little
Fuck
closer.
him, shake. Allah, she go telling it.
Yes, that's better.
I know if she nervous, she come with a bag of lie. And I know them not come to the truth. Juliet will send them out and Andrew Wallace. Train them. This woman named Carleen Lowe. She them now look like a woman anyway. A bomber wall. Yeah, me tell you something, man.
Alright, let me.
Nervous, I'm nervous. They're not confident. Because pale like them come blood clot tell.
Today I appear before the committee in my capacity as
Look at
the
her.
accounting officer for
Look.
the Houses of Parliament, and I
Just look on the rascal at the whole of them. Just look on the whole of them, okay? A camera on a line, Them are just some people where Juliet Wallace train Andrew Wallace come tell lie and come do them dirty work, And the opposition is there and see the fucking wall in it and make them get with it. Right? Can me see everything, and me feel it. If it was a strong opposition, when Portia Sims was there, PJ Potters, them people couldn't come with them fuck here. Anyway, them things they never used to go on like what go on now. That's number one. But if that ever come, these them people couldn't come. And you look on them, you can't see the guilt on them face. Them know them not come confident. Them know them come with a charade, become tell lies. Them might do the devil's work. And blood, because see, me tell you something, After the Auditor General come out with a report, clean, nice, good Auditor General come out with a clean report, and she not miss. And now them come up certain things. People just listen to things when me talk about,
I wish to affirm my respect for the committee's oversight role and my commitment to accountability and the proper stewardship of public resources. The matters before the committee today arose from a special audit conducted by the Auditor General. My office has reviewed the findings, accepted those that are founded, and have implemented corrective measures.
See, she come and she read from a computer, you know, where them type out, you know. She not read from, if she come and she's the person who responsible for that, she just wants to come and talk fluently from her, she's not supposed to read something. So them not really prepared, them not really ready. Only people come with notes. If you are the person who's responsible for that, become really give your statement, you're supposed to talk freely without looking for fucking something. We're right out. That's what them people are doing. When them I tell fucking lie. All them things they can't. You see, me I watch Parliament, you know, World Parliament, you know. You see, if somebody I go come, if you're gonna read something, you're gonna read and go through your books them when it comes to that. When you come and give the opening statement like this, you're supposed to talk freely and looking at the crowd. Right? And that me see them do a Westminster in a blood clot England Parliament. Right? But them people always a read and come and write a written script. When they have a load of paper before them go up on the computer and then them have people I feed them with information. I text them and I tell them what to say all them things there. And more often know if the PMP you know, pick up them things there. As an opposition, no, they not do it.
Where weaknesses were identified. I wish to state clearly at the outset that based on the findings, there was no actual financial loss to the government.
Just look on that fat face one now. You can't see the guilt on her, you know. The whole of them, you know. Jesus Christ, boy, I tell you now, sir. No.
Noting that certain matters remain under statutory review in accordance with the Financial Administration and Audit Act. The auditors did not find any private or personal use of the government-funded credit card, and all funds identified were fully accounted for. In relation to fleet vehicle management, I did not authorize any personal use of government vehicles, nor did I authorize or condone the falsification of entries into logbooks. Where control weaknesses came to light, those arrangements were...
You know, all that, when it come to light, you see me I try to show you, so them come and them try to do the things, them and I try to cover up every blood clot things, and I don't know, and you know, I want to me saying, I'm keep on saying this. If this opposition going to behave like this, like they no teeth, you know, like a dog without teeth, and then now they're supposed to blow clot a fire pan hall cylinder, make them know say, well then, them are the people now. But now, look like them drop them bomber clot. Wings, or one of them wings break or something. We're not going to see what go on. Right.
Were stopped immediately and stronger oversight mechanisms were put in place. As part of strengthening governance and ensuring compliance,
I see that girl face can't see the lie and the teeth on her, you know.
The Houses of Parliament approached the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and formally requested the implementation of an internal audit committee. This represents the first time such a committee was being established in the history of the Parliament and is a significant step in institutionalizing oversight and accountability. Several of the issues raised in the report reflected historical control gaps and periods of administrative transition.
Not some, lot of things, most of the things.
Brought to my attention, directives were issued, control strengthened, and governance arrangements formalized to prevent recurrence. I'm here today to assist the committee fully to clarify the factual and governance context and to answer questions on the systems that are now in place to protect the public interest and the integrity of the Parliament. Thank you, Mr.
Every time them people say, said no things in place. Look on them, look on that fat one there. You see, this is the fucking criminal where them send out. After if you can do them dirty work, you know. If God was like man, when I get strike. Because me I tell you, saying, if people have sense and can read people, can say as some bunch, a crook, criminal, dirty people, them, you know. No truth in them. They know exactly what I'm doing. Because them working for the devil. Because them getting good pay for do them things there. Yeah. Boy, me I tell you to us, boy.
Chairman.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll start off by looking at key finding number 1. And for members, I'm reading from the prompt, but you can ask questions either from the prompt or from the full report. The issue of the unauthorized use of the motor vehicle. On the 3rd page.
These are things, these are findings, you know, where the Auditor General find, you know, and that one I never miss, you know. And the Alvars come out and rubbish it. And now them send out them nasty, you know, to come justify something. And but we're going to, because as me I say, me respect Julian Robinson as a good spokesman, good opposition finance minister. But one thing with him too soft, him give up too much, too quickly, and want to move on and push on the things them, he just give up when he come with some crap. And a lot of rascal loophole missing at that. Because as I'm saying, you know, I'm a man who watch world politics. I watch Westminster, England, I watch in America, watching all different countries. South Africa, watch South African opposition, them do a ramp. Other day, I see the speaker tell man to sit down, woman to sit down, and she says she's not sitting down. And she stand, she hold her ground till when them send people come move out of the parliament, the whole of the opposition them go with her. Them thing that PMP not do them things there. And that's why GLP are ghetto with murder. If them not do them things there, them will fucking pull up them folly ground long time. Yeah. We're not too soft, man.
And I just bring your attention to a bullet point. HOP's response dated September 2025 cited August 15, 2025 memo claiming Clark's permission, even though no evidence not provided. Can you elaborate on that? Because the Auditor General is saying there was a response from, so I'm just for everybody so you can follow. I'm reading from this prompt and I'm on, this would be 1, 2,
like,
I'm on this page. It's not numbered, but I think it's page 3.
Well, they're supposed to have the same report.
Number 2.
They're supposed to have the same routed report. Why are you so nice to them?
I just want to ensure just clarity on, you have this? Oh, you don't have this? Could we provide a copy to...
So you see, them come and them have certain things when they're supposed to have. So they're supposed to have the same copy what the opposition have, you know. So you see, this is the trickery them start with already.
And this is in relation to overnight retention and permission for the use of the vehicle. So the bullet point number 3 states the response dated September 2025 cited August 15 memo claiming Clark's permission, although evidence not provided. I'm just seeking clarity on that.
He's supposed to have punch harder than that, you know. We might talk so soft. He's supposed to serious and like, go like him have beg them. When him have the thing, them thing them like, you never see.
Overnight retention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so by way of...
Just again.
Not too nice, man.
Closer to you.
Not too nice.
Okay, so by way of background information, just to state that the officer in question was completing part-time studies at the University of the West Indies. And he, based on his time schedule at the time,
come with excuse
he
now, you know.
would often return to the Parliament to complete his duties and responsibilities. And this officer was also the victim of crime having left work late one evening, he was deprived of his personal effects in the downtown area. And it was known to us that he would often stay here until late in the night, and therefore permission was granted to him that he could have access to the vehicle to ensure his safety in those extenuating circumstances. But certainly no permission was ever granted for there to be any unauthorized usage of the vehicle for personal purposes, nor for incorrect entries to be entered in the logbooks.
Okay, so you would have, my understanding is he was held up and robbed, and as a result, permission would have been granted for him to, is it to keep the vehicle overnight?
In cases where he was working beyond sociable hours.
Who cares about that?
In terms of the
government blood clotting when I deal with.
Was there a disaggregation? It said,
no, man.
Show the facilities and office manager use the vehicle 173 of 183 days, often parked off-site overnight. So how far would the permission have gone in terms of granting him to keep the vehicle?
For the nights when he was here until very late, he would have permission to drive the vehicle home in those circumstances for purposes of safety, but certainly not to use the vehicle for any personal or private use. And I should also state that during the days, he would have also used the vehicle for official government purposes, because sometimes we only have 2 drivers employed to the Parliament. Currently we have 1, so on occasions he would also assist us in carrying out their activities.
Pure excuse, and that make no
Madam
sense.
Auditor General, just seeking your guidance here.
No sense.
In a scenario where
talk to no man other than that, man.
Extenuating circumstances, and permission was granted by the clerk for overnight use of the vehicle, what would satisfy the Auditor General? Because it was raised as a key finding and a breach.
Yeah.
Was it the
key
absence
finding
of written instruction?
Breach, key finding.
What would satisfy you that permission was granted in a scenario like this?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as the clerk shared her position, I was actually consulting with the AP for that area. Because
what does AP mean?
I'm sorry, the audit principal, with responsibility for the audit, because what she shared just now, that she granted permission for the vehicle to be used in some circumstances, that's actually new to me. So it is not something that I would have
you see me, I show you.
To my understanding.
You see, this is one, one good auditor general, she not miss, one of the most transparency auditor this, right? That's what I'm afraid for her. So you see, she has a point out and say, well, then where she has said, she aware of it. Then I try to go around with the woman, see the truth, and me tell you something. And women are like, because the auditor general is not no politician, She's an independent, right? And she do her work. And Julian Robinson talk so soft when she's supposed to throw some punch and serious, because if I was the other side, even with War Milton and them people, them gonna fucking come like a war, them a war. And at that make politics nice, make politics and politicians stay in power, Because people will believe them. If one not throw no punches, as one get the opportunity now, we throw the punches hard. Like when Tyson, a blood clot, throw left hook and floor people. And that's what we do. We don't floor them. We don't have them in a palm and make them get away with it. And that me not like. What can go so?
Up to this point is that there was no evidence that permission was granted for the use of the
no
vehicle.
Evidence. Yes, clearly.
I am now consulting with my AP on that. In any event,
Yo.
I believe the circular does say that permission has to be granted by the head of entity. This matter is here as an issue because there is no such evidence.
When truth he tell you, say a fucking face. I look at the girl when I'm low.
And my understanding is that the clerk had also denied giving any such permission. I'm hearing something else now, Mr. Chairman.
Different, completely.
I really do not want to provide any opinion on that until I have better particulars of
Lie them I tell you, bluntly fucking lies.
Okay, so am I
Yes,
fucking asshole,
Madam Clerk, yes.
The facilities and office manager
watch them.
would have made this disclosure to the auditors regarding the fact that he was held.
People are email things to them, you know.
Permission was granted, and I also do believe that in the exit interview,
believing is not bumbleclad facts.
This would have been stated. What is clear is that there was no written permission, and what is also clear is that no permission was ever granted for there to be any breach of
somebody email thing to them, you know.
Or for any inquiry.
We answer the question. Shall look on the fucking tablet.
Logbooks.
So just so I'm clear, so
watch her face. Watch her face. She know bumbleclad like she tell you know.
Permission would have been granted given the incident, but nothing was put in writing. So when the Auditor General would have done her audit, she would not have seen evidence of permission in writing.
There is no permission in writing, that is correct, but disclosures would have been made to the auditors by the facilities manager of what transpired.
Okay. You see, this is what I'm trying to say. You say Julian Robinson, you know, everything him you know, see, the man not throwing a punch, you know, and question it, you know, and that make you understand. What you call this, let them off of the hook. when you have a clear case to throw a punch. Punches, not punch. Punches, boop, boop. Left, right, boop, boop. Like people are email them, you know. Somebody are email them and I look on the email to answer the question. Them now answer the question after them own merit, you know. When it's supposed like somebody know something, we're working in a department, them can't counteract nothing like that. Yo, and them see them look a rascal gap there. The opposition.
Held out after leaving work.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I say member Bunting and member Seabright. Member Bunting first.
I'm just trying to get some clarification on that third bullet point.
I don't know.
Parliamentary response dated September 2025 cited an August 15, 2025 memo claiming clerk's permission. Evidence not provided. Is that
see, everybody have the same thing.
I must say, if you could point me to it.
If you look at HOP 5, I'm sorry, in the exhibits that we would have sent.
Oh, this is in your response that just came.
Would it be in your management response?
Response that would have been shared via email.
PLIs.
Oh, it's the appendix. Oh,
yes.
Sorry. So, members, I think this is the appendix that you can point us to.
Julian Robinson, I go soft on them. I mean, I understand that.
Exhibits,
Exhibit what?
HOP 5.
HOP 5?
Yeah.
You can see the guilt on them bomber wall face, you know. Believe you me. Well, them people, you know, them take Jamaican be for idiot, you know. And people are suffer.
So this is the one dated or stamped August 15, 2025?
It's stamped August 18,
but it
sorry,
is dated August 15.
No, sir. This not safe.
So, of the 173
Remember, just pull the mic closer so we can hear it.
Of the 173 occasions that the employee took home the vehicle, how many of those occasions would have fit the approval that you gave?
I would not be in a position to give specific numbers, but that information could be provided in writing.
But
So why you not
qualitatively,
supposed to have it there, pussy?
vast majority? Would it have been half? Would it have been a minority? I just want to get a sense. In other words, was your approval abused, or was it generally in line with what you had approved?
From my own observations, I would say that it appeared
That's a bitch.
that there was no
I'm not going to say
abuse
that, to
of
be
the
truthful.
permission.
There was no abuse, you said?
Based on my observation at the time, because
At the time.
additional information came to light at a later
You can't see
time,
liar,
and
you know,
that
you
is
can't
when
see
I
lying
would
lips.
have provided instructions to the
No
legal
confidence is
department.
there.
This was in June of last year, for them to also do a review based on information that was coming to my office about the manner in which the vehicle was being used to determine if there was any abuse or non-compliance with the FAA Act. And upon receiving that legal opinion from our internal legal branch, the facilities and office manager was instructed that he should cease driving the motor vehicle, because in addition to instances where it was found that it was being used for personal reasons, it was also discovered that he was...
You know what I say right there, so? She read from her email, you know. Somebody them a feed them with these answers, you know. And that's how the GLP work, you know. She not talk from her rascal, from the merit of her fucking mouth, as somebody who's the head of rascal. You have a one office who's is the head of that to come out, come rascal, talk the truth. Somebody has send them, feed them with some in email, tell them what to say. She can't put her face and talk. If you're the head of something, you're supposed to can't talk without you looking for fucking notes. Yo. I don't know.
Was not ITA certified at the time. He did not have the proper certification that would have allowed him to be driving the government-owned vehicle.
Was he aware that he needed that before the ITA certification? Was he aware of that?
Certainly, because based on his job description, he had responsibility for fleet vehicle management. And one would want to imagine that any officer using due diligence would certainly be aware as to what is required of them. And there is, I saw something in one of the exhibits where it also indicated that the certification was granted at some particular moment in time. So if it is that it existed and it expired, certainly the officer would have an obligation to...
Oh, so he had it expired, and then he renewed it, but there was a gap.
I'm not seeing evidence of renewal.
It was not renewed? No?
I don't have that evidence.
And that certification lasts for how long? I know a driver's license lasts for a particular period.
2 years.
It's 2 years. So every 2 years, the officer would need to renew. So during this period, how long would he have been driving the vehicle without the certification? Or approximately how long? Roughly.
Expired, I think July. I think it expired July 2024. And he continued to have access, or July 2023.
Oh, God. No,
but what I would ask, Clark, just in terms of checks and balances, the owner shouldn't be solely on the individual. There should be a process where someone else would need to verify that he, in fact, has the certification. It shouldn't be, just from a process management perspective, it shouldn't be left to him alone to, and that goes for any individual. Someone should, I mean, I can say as parliamentarians, we have to provide our updated documents on a periodic basis to show that we still have our driver's license, etc. So whether it is HR or another function, someone should be checking to ensure that all officers who, whether they're granted government vehicles to drive, that they have the appropriate certification. You want to say something, Madam Auditor General? Member Seawright, I'll come back to you, but just release your mic so I can give the Auditor General. Go ahead, Madam Auditor General.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So I just want to emphasize that the clerk has introduced a new dimension. At page 18 of the report, paragraph 2.8.
Sorry, this is your...
Yes, the annual...
This one, this report,
correct.
page 18. One
yes.
second. Let's just get to it.
Section, the revised comprehensive motor vehicle policy is referred to.
You're on what, 2.7?
2.8.
2.8.
Section 5.4.
Right,
Point 4. So it stipulates that the government vehicle should not be retained overnight or beyond a period of specific assignment in special circumstances, such as where a vehicle is used to transport members of staff. And that is where it indicates that the accounting officer, head of entity, can grant special permission. But I want to emphasize that it says beyond the period of specific assignment. The representative from the Ministry of Finance is here, and I believe it would be useful to hear the Ministry of Finance's position on that, because what I am understanding here is that the clerk is saying that she did in fact give the FOM permission to utilize it for personal reasons. I don't know that a head of entity or an accounting officer can grant permission for a fleet vehicle to be used for personal reasons, but you can grant permission for the vehicle to be retained at the end of a special assignment. So if he's transporting members late in night, or he's asked to do an assignment which takes him beyond working hours, then I do believe that permission can be granted to retain that vehicle overnight. So I really want clarification if that's what the clerk said. And as I said, that this is really being introduced to me at this point.
All right, Madam Clerk.
JLP, dry riding.
Madam Auditor General, just to repeat what I stated earlier, that no permission was granted for private use. I would have given some background information as to why the officer was allowed to use the vehicle based on extenuating circumstances. He would be at work beyond 9 p.m. and
make up story
validated. And in light of the fact, and there was a particular time as well, we are existing in a very antiquated building, and we were having a lot of challenges. And therefore, he, at a particular time, he was here up until perhaps 10, 11, very late in the night. And in those circumstances, permission was granted. And this information is not new. It was clearly outlined to the auditors when they were conducting their research here. So it is not new information, and the facilities manager, I know, has stated this.
All right, Member Clark, well, Seabright was first, then Member Clark. What about the Member Seabright?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the Auditor General, the management response, it indicated that once the deficiencies in the fleet logbooks and supervision were identified, the Houses of Parliament instituted, I believe, weekly supervisory spot checks, and they strengthened the approval processes and introduced a rule that no fuel or maintenance is authorized without a clearly defined and pre-approved purpose of travel. So from your professional perspective, would you agree that if this is consistently applied that these measures would directly address the control weaknesses that have been identified in the audit. Now, beyond that, question two, really now, when I went through the reports, the response outlines that the clerk issued multiple written directives, December 12, 2025, January 14, 2026, January 17, 2026, January 19, 2026, requesting explanations and documentation from the facilities and operations manager. Yet these were, repeated refusals to respond. So how does a committee then, how do we distinguish between what could be some institutional control weaknesses, but really individual non-cooperation? And how does an accounting officer handle a situation like that where somebody is blatantly not following internal accountability processes and the audit itself?
Thanks, member. My quick response to question number two, I think that question is best suited for the clerk. I guess she ought to explain to the committee how she will handle this matter. In relation to the logbooks, I believe that if there is consistent and faithful maintenance of the logbook, alongside addressing the deficiencies identified, well, certainly it is hope that there would be improvement in that area in the future. And regular supervision as well. Thanks for that.
Madam Clerk? Well,
so just to state, Mr. Chair, that our response to the Auditor General's finding has been twofold, where firstly, there was immediate termination of the unauthorized access to prevent any further personal use of the government-owned fleet vehicle. And secondly, we have now institutionalized a new structure where we have a new transport manager in place. We have moved from a person-dependent system to a procedure-driven framework. In fact, we are now at the stage, it was raised in the audit report about the non-operational vehicles that are here, and we are almost at the end of the procurement process in getting a haulage contractor to come and remove those vehicles for boarding. And we have a strict zero tolerance policy on uncertified driving. Currently, I can confirm to the committee that we have no officer here at the Houses of Parliament who is operating any fleet vehicle without valid certification. The new transport manager has also implemented and has been maintaining a mandatory register of ITA certifications, and this also extends itself to the office of to the opposition leader's office as well. And the new transport manager has been conducting weekly spot checks and monitoring the logbooks. So no resources are being released unless trips are pre-approved as official business with a clearly defined purpose.
All right, members, Clark, then Cousins. Press your thing now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, all. Earlier, the Auditor General would have asked for the permission to be granted for the person from the Finance
Ministry of Finance, Mr. Blake.
To answer a question. But before she does, Mr. Chairman, the same section, page 18, 2.8, I think the answer lies right there. It's section 5.4.4 of the RCMVP stipulates that government vehicles should not be retained overnight, fine, or be on a period of specific assignment, correct, except in special circumstances, such as where a vehicle is used to transport members of staff to and from work or for any other justified extenuating circumstances. The policy authorizes the accounting officer to grant permission for the extenuating circumstances. However, he/she must satisfy himself of the continued safe custody of the vehicle during these specific assignments? I think the answer lies right there. It is.
I think the issue, if you read the next sentence, is that there was no evidence. So I think that's the issue.
The Auditor General is saying that when she was doing the audit,
she didn't see any
nothing
evidence.
was provided. But the answer
Shut your mouth,
from
go sit down,
Madam
man.
Clark, and she would have explained the situation
Corruption.
point by point.
Corruption.
So
Go
at this point, I still don't see the need to ask for, and yes, we still can get the clarity from.
That's how you don't see the need. Let me see you don't see the need.
Ministry. But the answer sits right
Dirty
there.
Leroy Clark, go away, man.
Authorize
You're full of corruption.
to
You're full of
satisfy
shit.
themselves that this is a special occasion,
Look
which
at you.
we would have heard that the person in question, the officer in question, works beyond sociable time, which I believe is anywhere beyond 9 o'clock going up.
That not nothing to do with nothing.
The situation that was presented to us, that prior to that, his life was in question as it relates to a robbery taking place.
Yeah, robbery taking place.
Member Cousins?
Fucking asshole liar then.
Thank you, Chairman.
You blood up, you take me for idiot,
My
you know.
question and my point is somewhat piggybacks on the point made by Member Clark, in the sense that
Oh, Clark, I want Leroy Clark, I want to look at pussy, man.
get some clarity on what is acceptable and what is unacceptable as far as the government guidelines are concerned. The clerk could have indicated earlier, one, that she allowed access for the unauthorized, for the youth to go to university and come back, and also to keep overnight. 2 admissions were made earlier. The Ministry of Finance is here, and so we need some clarity, because this doesn't only affect the House of Parliament, it affects other agencies of government in terms of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable.
Yeah, and what's going on?
Before us, whether or not that is acceptable in terms of the extenuating circumstances. I have not heard of any evidence from the officer who says that he was robbed, that he made a police report, and that report is somewhere.
Yeah, all them things, they don't take me for idiot, innit?
To verify the extenuating circumstances.
That's a good question, sir. Them can't show no report. So him reported, say him life was in a danger or something. Then just come and make up some unanswered story. And this how these blood clot people operate. And that's why I say, Julian Robinson, you're too soft. You need your teeth, you need to sharpen your teeth more. You take everything to a granted, I just everything you're too soft, brother. You're supposed to throw some punch. See, even this brother I know talk, he might talk somebody, yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, man. We can't really, I don't know. Where are the evidence? And I know evidence for sure. Police record, that's number one. So them go rob him, in life in danger. I'm not reported, no record. This is called red herring, Yeah, man. The GLP party full of red herring. Yeah.
So
Hold on, he did. Did he?
Yes, and that can be provided at a later date.
Provided
No,
in
it's
this
not
response.
provided in the exhibits here, but it can be provided.
No, you can't.
The point is that
you're an idiot.
if you have it, provide it so that you can.
Oh, so what am I going to do? They're going to make up something now. This is what I'm going to do now. They might just raise something very really important, Because them thing there is serious. Parliamentary business this. So you're supposed to have a record, a police record, which prove that. But no, somebody must text her, because that never work out, Email her and say, well then, tell them, say, well then, that can provide it. Then we're going to go to a corrupted police now. Yeah, go to the, because them control the police, So them going to go to a corrupted police now, come with something. Oh, yeah, don't let them have a look, man.
And verify what you're saying is true. And that would then
Yeah, right. That's supposed to do that,
have
sir.
allowed me now to ask the question because I perused the documents. I
Fucking
didn't
idiot, them.
And to an untrained eye,
Them lion
we don't
thief till them fool you, fuck.
to a trained eye, we don't miss things like that. So, thank you for that clarification. No, she says that she will provide it. But, Chairman, I believe the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, I'll ask.
You see me saying
Mrs.
Provide
Hope Blake.
some clarity based on the circumstances.
Hold on, we have a whole heap of mics on.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
Before the ministry responds, because I too just want to add something to that. The memorandum of August 15th from the Facilities and Office
Members, please. Member Cousins, please.
Speaks to the whole issue of driver certification. And I just want to understand why, the Island Traffic Authority, aren't they the body that issues driver's license generally? Why do they not accept their own driver's license certification? Why is there a special certification needed to drive a government vehicle when you already have a driver's license?
I don't know who here could answer that question.
No, but it just seems like unnecessary bureaucracy to me. Why would you, the same Island Traffic Authority that would have issued every driver's license, whether private, commercial, general, whatever the categories are. So why would you need a special certification from the same authority that issued the first one? Is it they don't trust their own certification? Because this is not a specialized vehicle. We're not talking some heavy articulated tractor head or something like that. We're just talking a regular, Prado. So that's one. And then there's this issue about the distinction between the yellow-plated vehicles, and I'm reading from this memo, and the privately insured. So I'm going to assume that the yellow-plated vehicles are uninsured or self-insured by the government, and that the privately insured vehicles are the ones with the regular white plates. And again, I just want to understand if there is some distinction between those who are certified to drive the same vehicle, for example, a Prado that might have yellow plate in one instance, but white plate in another instance, but is the identical vehicle.
All right, I don't know who can answer those questions, but
They can't fucking answer
I want
it.
to invite Mrs. Blake from the Ministry of Finance. Member Gordon, just release your mic and then turn it back on after. No, he was after him. I'll come to you. I'll come to you after, Member Corporate.
All right. Member Clark read from the policy, but I'll just read another section that talks about the unproductive use of fleet vehicles. Section 5.4.2 of the Comprehensive Government Motor Vehicle Policy says, drivers and other authorized employees who operate fleet vehicles must note that the government motor vehicles should only be used for official duties. Therefore, on no occasion should these vehicles be used privately. So that generally governs the use of fleet vehicles. He read further down by 5.4.4, which talks about the extenuating circumstances that gives the accounting officer the right to give permission to an officer to use the vehicles. But of course, you would have seen up here that it spoke about not using it for private use. And the example given here is if persons work late and you have the driver, then you wouldn't require the driver to carry back the vehicle to the premises of the entity, right? So the driver would be allowed permission to take home that vehicle once the accounting officer satisfies him or herself that the vehicle will be safe. So that's generally it. So there is the possibility that the accounting officer can give permission. In this case, he said he was robbed, etc. But of course, there needs to be evidence of that. And therefore, it would need to be in writing, because you would also need to know how long is this
Police
permission
record
been
as well.
granted. So those are the considerations. In terms of Mr. Member Bunting's question about the yellow plate and the white plate, assigned vehicles. So if most of the assigned vehicles are privately insured, are insured, not self-insured. Fleet vehicles generally are self-insured by the government.
And those are yellow plates?
Yellow plates.
Okay. Okay. All right, Member Gordon, then Member Cuthbert-Flynn. Oh, she answered it? Okay, Member Gordon.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm grappling with the fine line of demarcation between what is approved by the accounting officer and the policy as it relates to who can drive a government vehicle. It would also seems to me that there's a void where there's one driver short at the Parliament. So over time, that driver was asked to carry out those functions. Would the Auditor General tell me whether or not that constitutes a breach, or is it that the clerk failed to have adequate staff on board so as to avoid the approval of the use of that vehicle?
Thanks for that question. Mr. Chairman, if you'd allow me the privilege of deferring to the representative from the Ministry of Finance who developed the policy, and I think is in a best position to indicate the intent of the policy.
Okay. Mrs. Blake?
Thank you, Chairman. Okay, section 5.4 again. Earlier, it talks about the transport manager will be the officer authorized by the accounting officer to assign and manage the motor vehicles. The intention is that government vehicles, government-owned vehicles, are driven by, we call designated drivers, government drivers. So that's the general rule, right? If you have a government-owned vehicle, not the assigned vehicles now, but once you have a fleet vehicle, there is a driver and there are posts designated for drivers to operate those fleet vehicles. So generally,
Hold on, something wrong with the mic there.
Because
you
she
want to
tell
turn
lie.
off that one and use the other one. Turn it on off.
The mic I
Use
tell
the
her,
other
say she tell lie. She's poking a lie there.
Right, sir. Right. In addition, the policy says the transport manager has that only authorized personnel are allowed the use of a fleet vehicle. All right. So there might be instances where there is given permission for another officer to drive the fleet vehicle. However, that person has to be certified, etc., to drive the vehicle. And we do not expect that that would be on a protracted period of time either, because you have positions that were created for drivers, and it is expected that they operate the vehicles.
All right, Mrs. Blake, I want to come back to one. Oh, you want to ask your question now? Okay, you had asked to do.
Ask another question, if I'm
Okay,
allowed.
all right. Before you do, just following up on what Member Bunting had asked about the difference between the ITA certification versus the driver's license. Is that a requirement developed by the Ministry of Finance for certain vehicles that the person must be ITA in addition to having their driver's license?
The motor vehicle policy does indicate that the driver has to be certified. However, this is in keeping with the ITA, the act that they use. So it's just a reflection of what the ITA requires, that the drivers are certified. I think this came out of a concern that there were multiple accidents, and the ITA had, at the time, felt that part of the issue was that the drivers needed to be recertified.
And this goes across the board for all government vehicles?
Across the board.
Okay. All right, Member Corporation.
I hope we can wrap this part up soon, but you know, from what the member just stated, I think it's a non-issue what was mentioned if the clerk failed or not to employ someone to transport persons around. Ms. Hope Blake just mentioned that the FAA Act, according to the FAA Act, once authorization is granted for the vehicle to be, for someone to keep it overnight in extenuating circumstances, that I'm hearing that it's okay once it's written, correct? So I don't think, I think it's a non-issue for you to mention if the clerk failed or not. I just wanted to
sit down, man.
Let me just say before I remember, God, the only reason this was flagged as an issue, at the time of the audit, the Auditor General didn't see written permission, which is why she raised this as an issue. The clerk has said that she provided it to the auditors in the interviews, but at the time she didn't see it. All right. Member Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my question was misinterpreted by a member from West Rural St. Andrew. At no stage did I refer to the clerk as being derelict in her duty. I asked the question whether or not the shortage of a driver would place that person who was authorized to use the vehicle in a precarious position because he was acting in a capacity not available to the Parliament at that time. And hence I am asking the question whether or not it would satisfy the Auditor General that the accountable officer made that authorization.
All right. I'm going to move to the issue of the government-funded credit card. And the issue that was flagged here is that there was an error in terms of the transfer of funds, and it...
You want one big one now, you know. You hear these people, you want a big one, this, you can see where liar fly left, right, and center, you know. And I don't know, all them people are so, think them smart and things like that. These are big rascal thing, you know. You know what I mean? To compare US dollar to Jamaican dollar. Right? Them know how to do them things and then them blame the bank. Hear this.
Was undetected for 4 months. I've noted your response since and the issue of a new principal financial officer. But prior to that, could you indicate how regularly were the accounts being reconciled and whether the individual before was doing that on a consistent basis? It appears not, but I just want to find out from you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Based on instructions received, it is our understanding that the reports were not being maintained in a consistent manner, and proper oversight perhaps was not adopted in the circumstances, which would have led to this processing error from the bank.
And let me just ask, I note you have said since the new PFO has come in, does the principal financial officer report directly to you, and does he give you a status report with a monthly or so to say all the accounts have been reconciled and provide the evidence, give you evidence that statutory deductions are paid, etc.? Is that provided now?
That is correct. He does provide a monthly report, and I can tell you that prior to even my tenure here at the Houses of Parliament, we had an issue where a lot of staff were being either overpaid or underpaid, and since the new PFO has joined the institution, we have seen several changes, and certainly reporting mechanisms are strong, and we do not have any outstanding quarterly credit card reports at the moment, and this can be attributed to the oversight that is being provided by the PFO.
Member Bunton?
On this issue, I mean, $29 million is not a little bit. Is it that the Parliament is so flush with money that they don't catch a 29 million error in transferring? There must have been, was there not a shortage somewhere else that would have indicated that this substantial sum is missing from where it should have been? And then for it to go undetected for 4 months, I mean, to say indicates weak reconciliations, that must indicate no reconciliation was taking place. How would a $29 million transfer error to a card account not be detected in the normal, I would imagine, at least monthly bank reconciliation?
Yeah, but 4 months. 4 months.
Thank you,
Teeth,
Member
them bomber
Bunting.
all teeth.
So just to state for the record that the erroneous transaction occurred on January 31, 2025 during the tenure of a former PFO who was on secondment to the Houses of Parliament and had the functional responsibility for oversight of the recurrent account. Now, also to state for the record, the credit card in question, it has a limit of $5,000 only. So the error would have occurred between the financial institution, because if we only have a limit of $5,000, on what basis would you seek to withdraw or to make a claim for $28.96 million?
But I'd go further. On what basis would any officer of the Parliament do that transfer?
The transfer was done based on my understanding from the Accountant General's Department, so it's not like the PFO. It is not my understanding that.
Oh, so it was not initiated by someone at the Parliament?
That's not my. 1 second.
You see, the lie them tell us. She know they get blood clot boy. They behind her know. Tell her. This is what them set them up for do, you know. The whole of them a criminal. I work for Andrew and Juliet. Yeah. Send them out.
Okay, thank you. So I've just been properly advised.
Then you're not supposed to know.
We had submitted a letter to the bank for payment on the credit card, and then the bank actually made that processing error.
Hear this 4K now. Hear this.
Than what was stated in the cover letter to them.
And your Peter Bunting going to bore some hole in it. You know, I'm going to bore some hole. I'm going to drill the whole night, brass clad. Just hear it.
And
again, you know, if you look on the next woman with the whole map head side of her, you can't see she nervous, you know. You can't see when somebody them go there to tell lies and then they know so well then them a work for these people. Them send them out. You can't see. These are not people who come there and confident. You can't see them all nervous. Anybody who have no eyes and no IQ, them can't see it. Yeah.
So you sent to the bank the amount that you felt should have been withdrawn, and the bank withdrew significantly more?
That is correct. We're just trying to find that.
Yo.
Yeah, if you could direct us to that memo, please.
So it's at exhibit.
Pay a thief in them and lie.
HOP 9.
HOP 9. Hold on.
Pay nervous bunnies them, man. One of the thief, blood clot Jamaican taxpayers and fucking fool them cry. And people are suffer like wow. Yeah, them people are need to go bomb a rascal jail, you know. And shoot with shit, you know. The whole of them, you know.
This is the January 28, 2025 letter to the manager of Scotiabank?
Yes, that's correct.
Bore some more night rotted. Drill and bore.
So your instructions were for the Jamaican equivalent of 181,000 Jamaican dollars. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm reading this right.
Come on,
the Jamaican
Julian.
equivalent of be credited to the U.S. account, and they took out. So instead of 181,000
Jamaican,
28.
Hear these people.
Sorry, I'm just trying to understand.
This is one bombshell, you know.
Because you are saying 181,000 Jamaican, but what was done was 29 million?
They converted it to US dollars, it appears.
So they
Jamaican.
took the Jamaican equivalent, assumed it was US.
It appears to be, that is what transfer.
And I'm going to let them know about that.
Hold on. Let me read this. The House
Yo.
of Parliament is hereby requesting that the recurrent expenditure account be debited with the Jamaican equivalent. All right. Well, I see why they're confused. Because you said with the Jamaican equivalent.
Yeah.
So they would assume the 181 is US.
Of course.
I think this should have been written with more
plainer.
It should have been clearer. And,
They deliberately do that.
Why the error was made, but it still don't explain.
They deliberately do that, and then we try to spin it now, and then it take 4 months for them. So all their money there. And I'm not sure so them blood clot jail pick nasty piece of shit criminally, brother. You know what I mean? Then deliberately do that, you know, because the bank don't no wrong. It's how them rascal drop the thing. Because it's not in a US. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something, you know. No matter you're done, so you can't also them people think say, well, it's blood clot.
Because that's a lot of money that you would have missed, that would have been taken out of your account. And but you are saying the accountant general did that transaction?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I stand corrected.
Stand corrected. Look at that bomber clot face. Fucking teeth, the girl I see, man.
The mic a little closer to you. So.
Calling low. He's a low little blood clot.
Piggyback on your earlier comment, and also I think Member Bunting, in terms of the undetection of this for 4 months. Specifically, I want to find out what is the management framework that you have in place, Clark, to receive, and I see that seeping in through quite a few of the different findings of the Auditor General in terms of her report. What is the management mechanism you have? Because I see where after the issues have been highlighted, yes, the corrective actions have been instituted, but consistent throughout many of the findings is some indication that there is a gap in terms of management mechanisms, oversight. So I want to understand the structure of the Parliament in terms of, is there a monthly management meeting where all the functions are brought together to report into you so that these things are not undetected? And as I said, it is right across the board. The appropriations account, the breaches under the fleet management, those are being detected by the auditor. But what is the mechanism that you have in place at the Parliament to ensure that, well, walk me through that, because I'm pretty concerned about that, because there seems to be that gap in terms of a monthly review, feeding in from the different functions, fleet, finance, whatever the function, so that those issues are detected early and continuously. So could you guide me and walk us through those?
Okay, thank you, Member. So just to reiterate, all persons who report directly to my office must submit their monthly reports. But one can also appreciate that where an individual fails to incorporate certain information,
I don't know, you sleep at night.
Report, it would
How do you sleep at night?
Somewhat difficult.
Calling low.
Where I sit, to note that there has been a gap We had a PFO at the time. Part of her responsibility was to ensure that the accounts were being reconciled, and clearly there was a failure. However, during transition, we got a new PFO who started the 1st of April, and by the 5th or 6th of May thereabout, he detected this error. So it is clear that
4
it's
months.
not a case where systems are not in place, but also a case where persons may not be applying themselves to the systems that exist.
Thank you for that response, Madam Clerk. So you get the report, all functions submit the report to you, but there's no active monthly meeting of the management
And
the
check,
leadership
yeah.
core of the Parliament where there's a discussion of.
You just imagine, you think me, all right, say me overpay somebody in my bank account and overpay somebody. There's no way I'm going to take 4 months to discover that. Them people are like BFA's thief, BFA's lie, you know. And it's a government business, you know. They're supposed to manage the country money with good oversight. And what about it take 4 months. If the auditor general never go and really do our auditing, you know. That will not slip away, you know. But no fuck. We are one of the best auditors general in Jamaica. I wanna like her. And I can't say if it was one of it go stay safe. Yeah man. Because she do the job and she do the work. Exposed, you know. Big time. Not two teeth.
Of these reports so that if, for example, because you may be bombarded with 5, 6 different functional reports per month,
Don't take up here, man, and stop fucking shit.
They are going undetected. The issues are going undetected, whether it be previous PFO or it being detected by the new PFO. It went 4 months undetected, and you would have received the 4 months of report from,
so no fine.
From the outgoing PFO.
Yo,
so
no.
It's just trying to understand what is the management oversight that happens so that, and perhaps
and people to be
such a structure where apart from getting the reports and you being encumbered with going through that, there is a monthly leadership meeting
of course you must have to have that. Not government business.
So that the gaps and the undetection.
Two teeth and bare face.
Okay, so we currently do not have
look on them.
Set monthly meetings for management, but as I have said before, even with the written report, there's an obligation for persons to pay due diligence and to give an accurate reflection of what transpired. I usually go over. Sometimes it's not possible to have these regular meetings because we have sittings once per week.
What should I say?
Instances, and there are other administrative.
When I have meeting for teeth, but no meeting for really check the blood clot, public money.
Meeting, but there is a monthly reporting structure, and I do.
You can't see that woman that said that her, you know. No, it's a lie, she tell you know. She not really nice, you know, but she just, like, you know, when them use somebody because she get paid. But you can't see she not comfortable. All the big fat one there, the man there, brother. Watch them them fucking, you can't just watch them body language, you know. Them put them there, them get money if you do that, but them know them do something wrong. Them have peer pokey, peer bumper them a bowl. You can't see that woman there with a ear, long ear, like map ear, that side with the side of Carleen. Low. You can't see she not comfortable. Me now ask Christ. I walk. Cause to me dissecting and watch things, you know. Me not really, yo.
Take the time out to review those monthly reports, and if there are questions or red flags, I will reach out to that officer to request further clarification.
Oh, you look on her body language. What's her face?
Just in future.
She confused.
Because it goes in the order, so I'll ask
Yo.
Member Bunting and Member Currencia if you could release yours, and then after Member Brown, you'll come back on.
Thank you. And I appreciate the explanation. I'll just finally say that you are going to be in the hotspot always. So therefore, you indicate that the obligation is on the functional head, be it accounts, be it fleet, be it whatever department. I would suggest that, because you are in the hotspot, that you could look at reviewing the management structure and how you undertake the oversight so that we don't have these things and that you are not brought to bear to explain inefficiencies and errors from your management team.
Like you, sir, fair.
All right, member Bunting, then member
Not
Curran.
too blood clot.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, looking at this letter, the bank made no error.
Yeah, Bunting now got bored. When I go bored in the world, I dream I go drill some hole now, you know. This is a man, is a bank as well, you know. You know about them things there. So I'm going to drill some hole now and drill the hole so deep. And I'm going to try as if we come back, but you know, it's not going to really stick. Because I hear this.
The error was made in how the
Bank made no mistake.
Was written. Because having spent many years working in a bank, this is clear. Requesting the recurrent expenditure account be debited with the Jamaican equivalent of $181,026.73 and credited to the US dollar account. So clearly, if it's a Jamaican equivalent to credit and of an amount to be credited to a US account,
And I can't blame the fucking bank.
it is perfectly acceptable that the bank would have interpreted it that way.
Yeah.
So the error was in the instruction. And the instruction was signed by Colleen Lowe, clerk to the houses.
Yeah, that nasty piece of shit.
Maybe a mistake was also made in the wording by the principal finance officer, but we must take responsibility for our own errors. And clearly, you were the co-signer on this instruction.
She knows what she's doing.
I really don't think it's fair to the bank to be trying to say the bank made an
Yeah, and that's what they fucking do all the while.
That was given to the bank. And then this was further compounded by reconciliations not being done on a regular basis. It really shouldn't go more than a month, but it should perhaps be even more frequent.
4 months ago.
Sums that are being transferred. So, you know, please, let's just, anybody can make a mistake, but let's take responsibility for our mistakes.
Don't blame the bank.
And then put measures
that
in
thief
place so
in
that
Callow and Low. That woman was a low woman, you know. Yeah, man, give her one love in her cloth. Watch her come back now with a little soft response.
In response to that, Member Bunting, let me also state that notwithstanding the specific reimbursement amount that is in the cover letter, the bank also failed to make contact with a representative from the Houses of Parliament to confirm the sum that was to be credited. And this is a standard practice from the bank. And there are emails we're trying to find where the bank would have stated that they did try to reach out to the then PFO to confirm the amount that should have been transferred, but they were unable to make contact with her.
So in every,
all
let me
a
just,
lie, you know.
I know
All
what
a
happens
fucking
at a
lie.
personal level. If you request a transfer, the bank has to call you to verify. So you're saying, is it every transaction or above particular limits that the PFO...
Every transaction, even if we are requesting per diem from the bank, they usually call and confirm that.
You know, the PMP supposed to call for right, so no evidence of that. That's why I said the PMP, them really, they don't know what go on. You know, they're supposed to call for some documents with that. Even two. Them can't just take the word from these people because we don't have them in the corner right now. She the one to sign the check, you know. And she know exactly what them doing. She get advice to do that. So the bank now have nothing to do with it. The bank do wrong. And more of you know, if a bank will try to contact the government, one government minister, and I talk about nobody, them can't get through to nobody. Lie. How them and that's why I said the PMP now work, you know. All them things supposed to They're supposed to really, nah, man. Anyway.
The amount and who is to collect it. Every
Okay.
transaction.
Every transaction.
Every transaction.
Okay.
That's still no rascal. Watch her. You watch her.
Okay.
Yeah, this man has to have okay.
Is
Okay.
that, I must ask though, is that efficient?
You know, Julian Robinson, now drill them, you know, okay. Okay. Me can the write this and see clearly. That's what I'm saying, you know, if it was the opposition and them in that predicament, pan in the PMP, them not beat the PMP left, right, and center. You know, come out have okay. That's a big loophole to keep on drilling. Peter Bunting didn't part. I said there's no way the bank made a mistake because he's a bank and him know. And then as the chairman, Julian, him come now and another start okay and take it okay and I'll throw back the punch. When some bank, yeah, let me tell you something, you know. Sometimes, you know, yo.
For every transaction, or you don't set limits over a particular amount?
Too soft.
An accounting, the PFO
No,
may be
attack
able
the people,
to approve X, but certainly over an amount it might be the clerk who has to be. But you're saying every single, if it's 10 Jamaican dollars, them have to call to confirm.
That is correct.
So why you don't ask them for evidence for that? He's opposition. He's supposed to, yeah, but no, all them thing there, you know, as a government minister, as a opposition MP in a parliament, it was South Africa parliament, them don't want to see. And I'm have to show them. You can't just take word of mouth and talk about okay, and not throwing a more punch. And you are the fucking shadow finance minister. Come on, man. Come on.
Transaction, I usually receive a phone call or the PFO to confirm the amount.
So you always get a phone call to confirm, and you say, well, in the bank I try to call 4 months. I don't get nobody. Blood clot, no sir. That's what I'm saying, you know. If as a PMP I go behave, GLP I go rascal, this is what JP want, you know. Because they must say, well, the people are really at them beating stick, you know. Yeah, man. Because the PMP come with them lies, have them crew, set up them crew, and PMP have the rascal angle right, you know, them have the blade, you know. Because there's no way them can do them things there. And it take 4 months before. Yeah, let me tell you something, people. You can see the guilt on a girl face, you know. Watch her face.
This was an unusual transaction because, as I understand it, the limit on the credit card is $5,000. And in circumstances where the letter as written is ambiguous, it's really a function of interpretation. Albeit the bank, it's really a function of interpretation because the writer intended one thing, the receiver interpreted one thing and followed with a series of actions thereafter. The fact of the matter, and in support of what the clerk is indicating, this was an unusual transaction. So it would not be far-fetched for the bank to make contact in circumstances where you're moving in excess of 100,000 United.
Aye, that me I say. And that me I say too. This is a bank and deal with government money. So all them cannot try to contact and can't get up money. Them things are something simple as some Delhi house thing them a play, you know. That's that me I say because this is not like a simple little person. This is government money. And when a bank call a government minister, them supposed to fucking answer. This is red herring, people. This is a red herring, stinking red herring. Let me tell you that. There's no way nothing go so. If so much money go through US dollar, and a plan money them there. Sorry. And a plan money them there, you know. Big money. And you will tell me, say, well, then, banker try to really get to somebody and them can't get nobody. They keep talking to nobody in the government. They kill a line and wicked. Well, I mean, I know, you know, people, Jamaican people, when we wake up, you know. The PMP, they not fire upon all cylinder, you know. Believe you me, this is a chance for them to tear the government apart, you know. Yeah, man. When I say tear them apart, we're not too quiet. I want to play. Daddy House? Sure.
It's these dollars to a credit card that has a limit of $5,000.
Yeah.
All right. I want to move to the procurement of the services for the renovation of the members' lounge. No, I think we all are happy as members of that the lounge is much better. It's just ensuring.
Yeah, man say we all are happy. How can you happy as the opposition? All them things are fuckery, you know. I understand. How can you happy? What is there to happy about? You should have said, well, then there's unfinished work to done, unfinished question to be answered. So you're happy with that? We not go on, man.
That the procedures were followed.
Yeah.
I know there were issues related.
I'm saying I'm happy that the procedure was followed. That's what I tell people, say, PMP asleep, you know. The PMP asleep. And they fucking burn me a fuck. That brother there, Julian Robinson, you know. He might make me get really angry with him because him too cool like cucumber. Because I'm going like him, let him work with the government or some fucking thing. I never said that. You know, that's so cool. When it comes to these business, you work with the blood clot Jamaican people. People want to see you have fire in you. The whole of us want to behave, you know. You big up Peter Bunting again. I mean, I always notice a brother here, you know. Him all happy. Them all happy. So the question is answered. Anyway, we can go on.
Related to
the
air conditioning unit and the procurement and the lack of formality, no formal contract, purchase order, etc. Could you explain that? I know you were.
You know, when I let down the Auditor General, you know, when we want to do a good work, and you did that about, we're happy. For your opposition, if you behave like that, I don't know. After the woman go through and do so much good work, for only now to come and rip it, tear them apart with it. You come to about, oh, we all happy, and I move on.
Were indicated you are trying to move quickly in terms of getting the units in Madam Clerk. Well, could you explain that?
Very too cool like cucumber, man.
So the question is in relation to the procurement of the AC.
Well, let them
yes,
have the hook.
And it says here, no formal contract, purchase order, warranty, no commitment control, officer attestation, no inventory records, supplier document lacks serial numbers, no physical verification.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, we accept the findings from
When I talk and I look like him afraid with people, I mean, I have no...
that
Yo, you know, no bulldog in him at all.
Were not supported through the proper procurement process, and that we have implemented new measures to ensure that in the future we do not have a recurrence where any officer from the Houses of Parliament can walk into an entity and requests to purchase units without proper procurement processes. And I must also state that, for the record, what I do know is that some of these purchases were made when I was away on official business, and we also have justifications from the facilities and office manager who would have gone to ATL to procure these AC units without following proper procedure. And I'm just trying to locate where in the exhibit you can find his justification, where he stated that at the time of acquisition, it's by way of a memo dated July 30, 2025. We're just trying to find it in the exhibit. He stated that at the time of acquisition, the applicable single source procurement threshold, HOP 19, in your appendix. 19, at the back.
While I look for that, you mentioned that some of this took place while you were on official duty. Again, the question I would ask, which Member Brown raised, is a process question. What is the process, whether you are physically here or not, if someone is going through the procurement process for this? Is there a threshold, for example, that you must approve as the accounting officer, or is there a lower threshold that the procurement officer on his or her own can go ahead and approve? What is the process?
The process is that all expenditure must be approved by my office. And what would have transpired in this
by your office, by you or your office,
is that the facilities manager would have gone to ATL and he would have solicited to acquire these units because he would be known to the persons, and therefore they would, because we have a relationship with them, and on that basis I presume that
but he would have been acting based on some discussion that, listen, we need to get these AC units because...
because admittedly my AC was down, the deputy clerk's AC went down, and also my executive secretary. So there were cases that were known that he would have received approval for those, but he would have stated that, so he gave two reasons. One is that at the time of acquisition, the applicable single source procurement threshold for goods was 1.5 million Jamaican dollars, and all 5 transactions fell below this threshold and were therefore legally compliant. There's also another memo which I'm speaking from memory, where he would have also stated that it was approaching the end of the financial year, and to avoid monies being returned to the Ministry of Finance, then this would have also, it's in the same memo, sorry, on page 3, that money would have been unspent. So in an effort,
So he was trying to spend the money so that you wouldn't have to return it, and there was a clear need for the AC units, and it was below the threshold.
Correct.
Okay.
Members, are there any questions on this, or?
Just
hold on. No, we're talking about the specific, the procurement of the ACs. Member Miller, you want to go ahead?
Just a general question. Is there like a procurement committee in place for the Parliament?
There is. And there's an expectation for there to be full compliance. We have the Director of Procurement who is sitting to my left, and we also have the Senior Procurement Officer sitting directly behind her. So we do have processes in place, and we also have committees in place, and usually when matters go to that department, an evaluation is conducted, and the full cycle in the procurement process is generally observed.
So in this particular instance, did this purchase go through the procurement committee?
No.
Yo.
So for clarity, only items above the threshold goes to the procurement committee?
No, the internal procedure was not complied with in the circumstances, and as part of the corrective measures, based on the job description of the facilities manager, he would normally report to the Director of Corporate Services, but that position is currently vacant, so he is currently reporting to the office of the Marshal, which therefore means that there can be no recurrence of what would have transpired in acquiring the AC units, because permission or approval must be granted by the immediate supervisor, who is the Marshal to the houses, and then it also comes to my desk for final approval. So on the requisition forms, 3 signatures are required.
That's a corrective measure.
Well, that has always been in place. However, it was not followed by the individual in this circumstance.
Just to clear my mind, one of those signatures would have been the clerk's signature, the final, which meant that they would have circumvented quite a few steps. As a person who the box stops with, you would have ignored those steps as well, correct?
As I indicated earlier, that whilst I had knowledge for the purchase of, I think, 3 units, because in 3 consecutive days, units went down, including my own office. And I'm aware of that. As to the other purchases, they were made, some of them, while I was on official business. I was not physically here in the jurisdiction, and therefore did not grant any approval, and neither did I see any evidence that the deputy clerk, who would have supervisor functions in my absence, made such approval either. It does not exist, and it was never brought to my attention.
The danger here, Madam Clerk, I believe this person would have been trying to solve a problem which existed and was moving quickly. But the absence of controls or adequate controls means that that person could abuse the system. That's the challenge, right? And so clearly he was buying ACs because ACs had broken down and there was a need. But when you raise the issue of your absence, it's a red flag for me, because your absence shouldn't be an issue, because somebody deputizes for you. There's a process that somebody should follow that should be signed off before somebody can commit funds on behalf of the Parliament. So the challenge is ensuring that the process is in place, that somebody doesn't go out on a frolic of his own. And I don't think he was here. He was trying to solve a problem. But
It's better
but they weren't followed.
You might take up with the blood clot people, that's why I can't tell that brother, you know.
Director of Procurement is here and can confirm same.
And these, see, a lot of the breaches that are coming up, I think we're putting in, you're putting in place things to correct it. And I understand that, right? It's just in this case, you know,
the brother have to go in,
privilege, and done many other things with the resources available to him without the knowledge of the supervisor.
I'm not trying to hard punch people.
All
I agree with them all the while and I try to find words with them.
Bunting, then Gordon, then...
Yeah, I'm tell you something. Then I'm paying here, you know.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just trying to reconcile the memo of July 30th, 2025, HOP 19, and it's written by Mr. Watson, the Facilities and Office Manager. And in conclusion, he ends the procurement and installation of the 16 air conditioning units were in full compliance with the thresholds applicable at the time, consistent with the updated procurement policy effective March 27th, 2025, justified under Section 25 of the Public Procurement Act, carried out through 5 separate invoices, none exceeding the threshold, and this part I'm not 100% understanding, funded separately from the 30 million fixed asset allocations for financial year 2024-25. So I'm having, this person is still in a role? So they are of the view that they were fully compliant with the various procurement policies and regulations. The Auditor General, and seemingly confirmed by you, now say that there were multiple breaches. How do you reconcile this memo with the conclusion? I'm trying to understand. What of those 5 bullet points in its conclusion are incorrect?
Okay, so Member Bunting, if you should look at the same memo, on the transaction details, where the 5 invoices are listed, and if you look at the dates, so when you take all things into perspective, so for an example, invoice number 2 and invoice number 3 are both dated March 13, 2025. One number ends with 608, the other with 611. And if you also look at the sum, it's just below the $1 million threshold. And
so what you're saying is splintering the transaction.
It appears to be that based on the invoices that are stated
he's
here.
Splintering the transaction to get around the intent of the policy.
It appears to be so based on the evidence that is here.
But again, was he doing that because there was the urgency of trying to procure the things?
No, but I think it would be, Mr. Chairman, making a mockery of the policy if officers could just splinter purchases to get them below the thing. So
below the threshold.
You know, whatever may have seemed expedient, but I don't think that is. That certainly couldn't be acceptable, or it would open a gap that you could drive a horse and coaches through.
Correct.
It could be exploited, and there's some laws or regulations, for example, in poker, for example, where you talk about transactions below $1 million, it has anti-splintering provisions to avoid this very type of act. So I don't think, you know, especially now given that they're on the same day, it would be very hard to not conclude that this was contrived to breach the letter of the procurement policy, but it certainly breaches it in spirit.
Member Crawford,
where was I got distracted. I think I'm looking at the Auditor General's report as to what was found. And I see what was found was procurement undertaken without budgetary allocation. Is that what happened? And also varying bid procedures and improper contract selection and award noted. So,
where are you reading from?
Page 6. And this is
Which document, just so that we follow?
This is in relations to the procurement breaches, relation to the renovation of members' lounge and purchase of air conditioning equipment. So I'm not understanding, since I got, was listening from what you stated. Was there a budgetary allocation this procurement undertook without the proper budgetary allocation?
So part of the purchase would have been as a result of an immediate need and considered to be emergency. And regarding the facilities manager's assertion about not returning allocation to the Ministry of Finance, it is unclear as to what would have caused him to take this particular position about monies being returned under the budget.
Sorry, Member Gordon was before you, then Member Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is troubling to me is the fact that the clerk is saying that the officer acted on his or her own without any formal approval. Now, when you look at justification from Section 2 to Section 4, it is clear that Member Bunton was onto something about splintering. He raised the issue that the threshold was raised to 30 million. And so in his or her mind, they were acting under the threshold. So the purchases is way under.
The threshold was raised to 3 million.
To 3 million.
3, not 30.
Right, 3 million.
3, yeah.
And so they're acting below the threshold. Now my question is, if the officer was on a frolic, who authorized or approved the payments? And what process was used to justify those payments, since there's a glaring gap?
Good question.
Approval for payments was post facto because the AC units were all delivered and most were installed at that time. And under law, if you have received the goods and they have been installed, you could find yourself being sued for specific performance. So there was an obligation for payment to be made in those circumstances.
So at what stage did you as the clerk intervene? Yes, there's an obligation to pay, but the breach or the gap was prior to that. And at what time did you intervene? At what stage did you approve payment, given the fact that you said you were on vacation or whatever special leave at the time? It was never brought to your attention. So who was the officer approving that? Are you then saying the procurement officer was acting on a frolic?
It was not the procurement officer, it's the
Well,
facilities
whichever
and
officer.
office manager. And I will repeat that my involvement was limited to post-facto approval for payment based on the fact that the goods were already delivered and some already installed at the time.
So would you accept that there was a procedural breach? And at
We
what
accept
stage
the
did you
findings.
recognize that and move to fix it?
We accept the findings of the Auditor General, and the corrective measures are now in place to ensure that going forward, no officer can act on their own volition to ensure
You should have been in
that
the first fucking
there
place.
is no
Shut your yo.
of any breach under
I play them
the
people,
Act
you know.
and relevant
Should never
instructions
happen in the
and
first
circulars
place. Simple
of
as
the
that.
Ministry of Finance and Public Service.
The blood clot man go, man.
Our members.
Additionally, training has
Fucking
also
asshole.
been provided to staff
Both party, yeah.
for procurement as well. So this has been a part of the corrective action.
When you do the damage already and thief up the
Remember,
blood
bro?
clot money.
Thank you, Chair.
You know what, bomber clot up,
A
yo.
little bit, I feel a little bad because
Kin blood clot people, them take people be idiot, you know.
the clerk saying that the officer is, on a frolic of his own and
Yeah, hell them fuck with it.
right here. I am reiterating the point, Madam Clerk, that it would appear that we are not, in terms of the management structure of the Parliament,
Yeah.
we are not talking to each other.
Just do what they want to fucking
In
do.
terms of the functional issues. And again, the processes need to be put in place. Even if you're abroad, even if you're on vacation, it's important that a structure is in place so that there's proper accountability, proper reporting, persons, because again, the buck stops with you. So to say you aren't here, you're abroad.
Bullshit.
And I feel a little bad for the officer that is here to say that he's on a frolic, because the overarching management of the Parliament requires that somebody holds all the officers accountable, the reports.
I run the Parliament like a dolly house.
So I appreciate that the corrective actions have been put in place, but again, in my earlier intervention, we need to have systems in place routinely and consistently.
That's supposed to be in place long time.
Nobody is on a frolic of their
I break the fucking rule, thief the money, and that's all it
Respond
is.
to that member to state that, again, systems are in place. And
Well, it should be in place long time. I want to break it up.
want to go down this
And I try to
rabbit
fix
hole,
it when I do the fuckery.
when you enforce and
tell
make
people
those
idiot.
people accountable, there's a narrative that you are being vindictive when you hold officers accountable. There's a narrative that officers believe that they're being harassed when there are certain demands for compliance with the systems that exist. And when I stated for the record that I was not here, that was not to justify that I'm trying to absolve myself from my accounting responsibilities. It is to provide background information and to state that at no particular time any approval was given, neither did the officer sought approval from those who were present and could have given that approval. The systems were there, whether or not I am here, and they were not complied with.
Bullshit.
Mr. Thomas from the Ministry of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. The Ministry of Finance is a little bit concerned in terms of there are systems that were implemented through circulars, and there was an electronic system, the government financial management system, that should at least assist in ensuring that at least a particular level, compliance is being made when payments are to be done. So I just want to understand that in terms of the requirement is that a commitment requisition is done prior to any form of payment is to be done. A program manager must be the responsible officer that will sign off that commitment requisition to give the go-ahead to even start to communicate with any external person or personnel. So I just want to understand, at what point was the deviation made? Is it that no commitment requisition was signed and no go-ahead was given to the officer to approach a supplier? And then, when payments are to be made, it's clearly outlined, the process flow clearly outlines that a commitment must be done in the actual application, which must be certified, authorized, and updated. That's even before payments start to be made, to ensure that monies are available and we're not spending where we don't have any funds.
That are going in it.
After the commitment is done, then invoices should be coming in. When the invoice comes in, there is a need to certify that or to sign on that invoice that goods were satisfactorily received or services satisfactorily rendered. So I'm trying to understand at this point in time, what took place here, or what was the contract, or what was the bill, or what was the supporting document that was being used to measure what is being paid against what was being requested. I kind of want to hear what happened here, because the Ministry of Finance really want to assist in ensuring that the policies can be strengthened. So I want to understand, was it a total circumventing of not only the policy but actually the system as well? Or I just want to understand how it works so we can strengthen the policy. Because it did say when we are certifying a transaction, we just want to ensure that the system that is available to the entity right now, it can work. Because if it can't work, then the same thing will happen again. So the ministry wants to strengthen. So I just want to bring to the floor, Chair, that these procedures are in place. So I'm not understanding where the breach took place. I want to understand so we can guide. As the Ministry of Finance, we can provide proper guidance. So if that clarity could be made, the Ministry of Finance would be comforted to provide the guidance required.
What's the point of order? What's the point of order? What's the point of order, Member Clark?
I am raising a point of order, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. I thought I heard my colleague said something, so I was waiting. Anyway, the question I want to ask, the gentleman is from Ministry of Finance?
Yes, Mr. Thomas.
You're giving clarity, you're giving us some clarification, or you're asking some questions?
He was asking.
Well,
He made a statement.
Why don't you push Leroy, go sit down, man.
Is he here in the capacity?
Like he has suck cock or
question
something.
the officer, or is he here to give us
No,
guidelines?
but he can, if there's
No,
a
just-
particular issue, as the Ministry of Finance.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking through you to the gentleman, is he here to ask question or to give clarity and clarification to matters that may arise that may be confusing to the
Confusing to you.
committee? No, not you. Not you, cousins. You're not the chairman.
Yeah, but I'm answering. He has the right here to ask a question to seek clarity. He's representing. the
Yeah,
Ministry
what's
of
wrong with
Finance.
that?
He elucidated on his point, but I don't see anything that is out of the norm in terms of what he asks. No, he can ask a question. The Ministry of Finance is here. Their responsibility is to be the stewards of the finances of the country. If they see something or hear something which seems to deviate from process, he has the right to ask that. And he has done so. And I do think he should be answered. I don't see anything improper about what he has asked.
If I may, he also indicated that he wants to assist.
Yeah.
You understand, to ensure that there's not a repeat of what transpired. So I don't see anything wrong with that.
I don't either. Okay.
Leroy, go suck yourself and go away, man.
All right. Madam AG, you wanted to say something on this particular point? Members, please, hold on, Heather. Press your mic, AG. All right, members, please. Madam AG, press, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just want to...
Members.
I just want to provide information based on the clarification requested by the Ministry of Finance, and I'll refer you to page 41 of 4.27.
Cousins.
Yes, page 41 of 49.
Of your report,
Yes,
yeah, go
of
ahead.
the report. Paragraph 4.27. And I'm going to read from the second sentence. In relation to this specific matter, the absence of a signed contract by both parties may prevent HOP from enforcing any claims. So we're reiterating that there was no contract in place. And we went on to say that also the required purchase order was not submitted, and the required written attestation from the commitment control officer that the funds were provided and are available for the specific purpose of the proposed expenditure was not presented.
Understood. Members, are there?
Yes, in relation to the motor vehicle accident. Oh, you're moving to another point now.
No, you can ask your question.
Yeah, sure. In relation to the motor vehicle accident, what is the status of the settlement offer? One must read this something.
I know. Just help everybody and tell us where you're from.
What page? I look for the something, man. In relation to the motor vehicle accident, what is the status of the settlement offer? Because I see where it was indicated that by September 9th, there would be a recommendation and proposed steps. I've looked at the response from the House of Parliament, and that was omitted in the response. Also, the accident occurred in July 2024. There was no legislative council until September 2025. When was the settlement offer made, and wasn't there any acting legislative council between that time and September that would have allowed us to address this matter? Why would we have to wait until all the way in September of the next year for this matter to be addressed? I find that concerning.
The Auditor General wants to say something on this point.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman, because by way of correction, the clerk indicated that she did engage legal counsel, and had provided information that I believe would have been overlooked by us. Because having reviewed this package yesterday, we saw an email thread where she referred the matter to the legal counsel. And I gather that it's by that email that she's saying that she referred it. The challenge is that in responding, the specific correspondence was not referred to and was overlooked when reviewed. So we are satisfied that a referral was made as far back as September, I believe, 2024. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I'm being instructed by the legal counsel that we are waiting an update from Toyota Jamaica to receive the estimate before we can accept it.
Member Cousins, you heard? You heard the answer?
I heard the answer, but I saw an estimate on the file from Toyota Jamaica already. Is it that you need an updated estimate?
One.
Okay. Thank you.
Our members, are there any other questions for the Houses of Parliament? Okay.
One final question for me, Mr. Chair. The issue was raised of the non-submission of the appropriations accounts for about 5 to 6 years. I will not belabor the point in terms of understanding from the Parliament level why that was not done, because it's clear in terms of the processes, inadequacies of the processes. But my question would be to the Ministry of Finance in terms of oversight, because the appropriations accounts, in a sense, ensures that the agencies and ministries are adhering to the fiscal spend and the budgetary allocations of the government. So where we are not getting that from any agency, and it's repeated, 5, 6 years, would not the Ministry of Finance, because there's not a board that oversees the Parliament's operations to detect that, would not the Ministry of Finance be observing that? And why wouldn't they have raised that as an issue before the auditors would have come to identify that as a finding?
Well, before I invite the Minister of Finance, let me say, Member Brown, it is a chronic issue, and coming out of the Auditor General's annual report, you'll see a number of ministries, departments, and agencies that are way behind. And in fact, that's the discussion we're going to go to next. But what I would ask the Houses of Parliament to do is to give us an update as to a timeline by which you intend to bring the accounts up to date so that we know we can hold you to that particular time frame. And then I'll invite Ms. Blake to comment.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, I was just informed by our Director of Procurement that their branch is awaiting the terms of reference from the Principal Finance Officer because we have decided that we perhaps should get an external consultant to come in to prepare those back or outstanding reports, which is an inheritance from so we are in the procurement process to ensure that those reports are brought up to date.
All right, what I'm going to ask you, because I know you can't give me the answer to date, that by next week, in writing, you provide to the clerk a time frame for the procurement of the accounting services, and then what is the time frame? I don't know if it's 5 or 6 years that you have outstanding. You have to give us a date by which you believe you'll bring those accounts up to date. All right?
If I understand the corrective measures with the procurement of an external team to deal with it. But is it that the Parliament does not have the capacity? So once this is fixed, will we then be able to, going forward, have the requisite capacity to
do it on our own?
Yeah.
Based on instructions received from the Principal Finance Officer, is that they are continuing to do the work to bring the reports up to date currently, and the consultant will focus on the legacy backlogs that we have inherited. Thank you.
All right, I want to allow either Ms. Blake or Member Seabright, if you could just release your mic so I can allow. Yes, go ahead.
With respect to the financial statements, especially the appropriations accounts, the Ministry of Finance does have serious concerns. What the Ministry of Finance does on a monthly basis, it sends out a rating sheet to all entities outlining whether or not they are outstanding, and if they are far outstanding, they would have been issued with a letter indicating that they are outstanding, and also for them to state to the ministry what are the challenges and what are the things that will be put in place to ensure that these statements are up to date. Each year, the Ministry of Finance outlines the concerns and stands ready to partner with the Accountant General's Department if it's a case where training is needed to get the officers up to speed or whatever it is to have the statements done. So it's not that the Ministry of Finance is not aware, it's just sometimes the entities are just not responsive.
Member Seabright, you had a comment? Or,
Yeah, just wanted to point out, Mr. Chairman, that I think we should commend the staff of Parliament for addressing some of the deficiencies highlighted in the Auditor General's report. Clearly, there is no case of systemic fraud or any deliberate wrongdoing by the institution, and clearly some of these issues have gone on.
Shut your fuck up, bro.
And I see definitely a
fraud is fucking plain fraud.
To address the issue systematically, and they deserve commendation for doing just that. Thank you.
Yeah, idiot. Go sit down, man.
Member Morrison.
Fucking big fuck ass.
Thank you, Chair. And what we
But no
want
fraud.
to see is a headline.
How would them blood club that in about don't know fraud? Pure fraud.
FOM was on a frolic of his own. We don't want to see that. Member Bunting used the word expedience, and I think that this is, we just want to, I certainly want to put it out there that this is a classic case of what happened in that instance, and also that this highlights that the thresholds that existed, they were really outdated, they were impossible to work with, but the Auditor General, I'm sure she will say notwithstanding that. So we are actually happy that there is indeed an increase in the threshold that allows us to reasonably, and especially in this time when we know that the costs are very different
But
from
there's
the
no
decades
fraud,
ago
a
when
pure
those
fraud.
measures were in place. It was virtually impossible to do business. And finally, I want to say, Chair, that it should come out very clearly that the systems in Parliament, the systems of controls and accountability, that they are in place.
There's no accountability.
And what
Stop your
needs to
fuckery.
happen is that they need to be properly utilized and observed. Thank you, Madam.
We're not going to try to save
Madam
face.
Easy, you wanted to comment here?
Face not try to save.
Right, I think the member addressed it with respect to the increase in the threshold. I'm an accounting officer, so of course I would appreciate that increase as well, because I do sit on the other side, as well as being Auditor General. I just want to reinforce, and the member did speak to that a part of the issue was not just the threshold being breached, but the fact that the fiduciary responsibility was not evident. The fact is that the government, because it is the government that was committed, albeit it's $3.2 million, but there was no action to ensure that even funds were available. Well, there's no evidence that that was done before committing the government, and that is very important as a part of the stewardship responsibility for all heads of agencies. Thanks.
All right, thank you, members. So I'm going to close, and I'll release the staff and thank the staff from the Houses of Parliament. Members, we're just going to, so you can exit. Members, we're just going to have a quick discussion on the annual report, and if members have, I have some areas that I believe we need to probe further, but I would invite members if there are any specific areas that you believe. I will start. Well, the Ministry of Health will be coming here to deal with the university hospital, right? But there is still a significant backlog in terms of the outstanding appropriation accounts. The Ministry of Local Government, that has responsibility for parish councils, there is a chronic issue there with the absence of appropriation accounts. We had the Ministry of Local Government last year, I believe. They gave some commitments in terms of time frames to bring the accounts up to date, but based on the Auditor General's report, I don't believe we are making progress as quickly as we should. So I certainly believe the Ministry of Local Government should be invited back. The Ministry of Health will come. I also believe the Ministry of Agriculture should be invited. There was a specific issue raised, and in relation to fertilizers, I think they should be invited here on that particular issue. But I would invite members, if there are any coming out of the annual report, if there are specific MDAs that you believe need to be invited to elucidate on issues that arose.
Yes, Chairman, the National Land Agency. Okay. I have noted in the report that there are some deficiencies with them accounting, so I think they should be invited to present themselves for us for some further.
Okay, NLA, okay. Yeah. Member Bunton?
Separate from those identified in the Auditor General's report, there's a general lack of observation. If you go to the Cabinet Office website, it lists all or at least the last annual report that was presented to Cabinet for various agencies or government entities. And so, for example, I quoted last week in Parliament, NEPA. A key agency like NEPA has not reported to Parliament from 2015, 2016. Just you know, how do we continue to accept this just lack of compliance with the law? Because I'm sure in the law that establishes the National Environmental and Planning Agency requires current reporting, but yet they're 10 years behind. There doesn't seem to be any sanction for it. You know, in fact, you struggle to find one entity in that long list published by the Cabinet Office that is current in its reporting obligations. As a matter of fact, it's just everyone is behind, but to what degree? You know, some are 3, some are 5, some are 10 or more years behind. And I just wonder, is there no penalty? Is there no enforcement? Is there no way we can bring those relevant accounting officers to book for their non-compliance with the law?
That's an important point. It's the same issue with you have raised the annual reports, the same issue with the appropriation accounts. The accounting officers have been here. They have highlighted some of the challenges, transactions that might have predated their own incumbency and the reluctance of current officers to sign off on things. There was an opinion sought from the Attorney General's department because there was a reluctance of officers to sign up on things 10 years in the arrears because they didn't want to be held accountable for stuff they didn't know. But it is a general problem that is across the board. There are some entities that are doing better than others, but you are correct that we shouldn't accept as the norm the level of delinquency that exists. And it's for ministries, departments, agencies, and it's I wonder, just following up on what you have said, Member Bunting, whether it would be the Cabinet Office or an appropriate body that should be invited here to have a discussion about that, because there are genuine challenges that exist for some of the entities, personnel, lack of appropriate personnel, other things. And I think it's important that this committee probes that particular issue, both for the annual reports and the absence of the appropriation accounts in many cases. And the appropriation accounts is pretty bad because you're just unable to provide an opinion on the state of the entity without those accounts. And in many cases, you know, in parish councils, they just don't have the records, which is even more concerning. So I would, as a committee, I think we should invite, whether it's the Cabinet Office or the appropriate entity, to look at that. Is there any other business, members? No? We will confirm the date of the next meeting. I just want to bring your attention to the status report, which indicates the deadline that we have asked entities to provide their responses by. And once those have been received, we will schedule meetings shortly thereafter. Can I have a motion for the adjournment? Moved by Clark, seconded by Cuthbertman. Thank you very much, members.
Yeah, so that is a lot of rhetoric, lot of lies, lot of back shuffle, everything. Well, you know, PMP, MP them perform in a manner. The only person be disappointed with is Julian, to be truthful. He agree with everything and try to sign off things so quickly and thrown a really hard punch like Peter Bunting and the rest. You know what I mean? So overall, what may I do now? Me just give them for this, me give them 7. And that's all it is. Yeah, man, give them 7. And I just say go because I talk about Colleen Lowe, that little woman the way boy, I tell you, she do a lot of rascal things since she take over. But Juliet Wellness little sidekick still, you know. She know everything what go on. So she look, them get the money and I nyam off the money, and so she them look really neat and nice. of a taxpayer's money and I do pay fuckery. But believe you me, time is longer than rope. But you know, PMP, me still I got to say PMP have to start. Come harder and stop the surfer. Come with some teeth. Be like a rascal, Rockweiler. Don't ease up. You know what I mean? Because if you ease up on them people, you don't have the angle, you know. So they don't ease up on them. Because you have them rascal scaving. Because a lot of rascal money are go missing. And you can see it plain right there. So, and then you have this one I come and talk about, there's no everything all right. Bullshit. But you know, the land, you know agree. You know, say well, anybody come say that anyway, because I'm one of them, you know. So, you're not going to expect no better from him. So, I just say it go. But overall, it's a good debate, and you can see the man of the cash, because, boy, with the money thing, they card will value $5,000 about 20 million $. What a fucking bangarang that. I mean, I understand. But anyway, things are coming to bomb, you know, because them can't run, but them can't hide. And that's all me I say. They can run, but them can't hide. So overall, as I'm saying, PMP, them not too bad. Give them 7 out of 10 at this moment in time. Yeah. Peter Bunting at the Star, him lick the hardest. Him fire the hardest shot. Yeah, man. So I'll give him another encore. Yeah, man. Give him another encore for that. Because at the end of the day, I just say go. So we just I'm gonna run out. Big up on yourself, each and every one we pass through. And big up on yourself. So kinda late in the morning, you know. So overall, it's a good firing debate. But I need more fire from the PMP. That's all me I say now. Don't let them off of the hook. Just deal with them like a rascal and make fire at them tail, but we not ease up too much. But anyway, we sure we're gonna move out. We're not gonna really send them more upon that. Big up on yourself, each and every one. I will show the junking and jewelness. So we're out and running, out and gunning, out.
On Sticky Stocky TV. If your finger is not sticky, subscribe. But if your finger sticky, do not subscribe on Sticky Stocky TV. Big up yourself, King Gaga, straight.
A big sound up here, big tune. Ja Holy Emmanuel, boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well. Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression, poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther. And the ancient monarchy will come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from it, tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well. The Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty. And we know war, no devil philosophy. Not until level for man's skin is of no more significant well. To the color of his eye. Remember all the war done in 1935.
This is Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan. Good, healthy food with the X Factor. So give it a like, share, subscribe, and touch up that notification bell. And that is it.